Alright, hey folks, we're going to do some game design tonight. We're working on the Bastion campaign. We're rebuilding and redefining orders that can be issued to the Bastion. So give me a second here. I want to check in on my signal, make sure that we're coming through clear, and then we'll get to work. So one hot second here while I check in to see how my signal here. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, good enough. Drop that down there. Get that volume out of the way. I'm starting later than I wanted to, but I'm happy to be here. So thanks a lot for anyone that decides to queue in today with us. I just need another few moments here for me to update my social media, and then we'll get started. So just to keep you entertained while I press a couple buttons. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, publishing the stuff on the DMsGuild. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and I started making content on DMsGuild in 2018. You know, I was a big fan of the old Dominion style of play like Beckme in 1st edition, where you gather followers and accrue land and start influencing the world around you. But that slowly got stripped away in D&D 3E, then 4E and 5E was completely gone. And so they've tried to bring it back in with 5e24 with the Bastion campaign idea. But there's no real Dominion. It's just a place that gives you free stuff, and that's not really the vibe that we want. So we're developing this out so it has some more teeth to it. If you decide that this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. We're live in the future. And here's a bunch of other books that we've already created that are on the DMsGuild. They all have 100% free preview. So will this Bastion campaign once it is released. And if you want to tag along on today's adventure, here's the playtest document. You click onto that, and it'll peel open Bastion campaigns. This it's going to be a read-only document for you, because I can't just give you the stuff. That's one of the rules for publishing things on the DMsGuild. If I give it to you, I have to give it to you through the DMsGuild. So in the meantime, it is a read-only document. But you can at least read it, so you can see what's going on while we're building things. And once we get into the hands of an editor, we'll start updating it, and then we'll draw it, and it'll be up on the DMsGuild before you know it. So just going to drop this down here to get it out of the way. Be welcome to ask any questions if you want, but I'm just going to be doing some design today. So this is the, let's see, here. Let's grab this here. I think where we're at right now with the document is, let's drop on down. So we've defined how to gain ranks in the Bastion. Bastions have 5 ranks that correspond with the increases in proficiency bonuses that characters get at 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, 5 ranks. And the amount of points that you have to accumulate to accrue ranks is 1 to 10 is first rank, 11 to 20 for second, 21 to 30 for third rank, 31 to 40 for fourth rank, 41 to 50 for fifth rank, and each Bastion point has a correspondingly increasing gold piece value as you proceed. Initially, it's really easy to accumulate Bastion points. 100 gold pieces a piece easily can get you into second rank with only 1,000 gold pieces spent. And then once we're in the second rank, it's 1,000 gold pieces per point. And then by the time we get to third rank, it's 10,000 gold pieces a point. This is a great money sink. Initially, you can utilize, at very low levels, you actually spend your gold on like equipment and healing potions and gear like that. And the amount of gold that you can receive in an adventure as rewards can also be relatively low, because it has a difference for the kind of stuff that you're making. Once you move into 5th to 8th level, you're looking at full plate armor, which costs like 1,200 pieces, like picking up a horse for 700 gold. And then you're starting to really look towards magic items, maybe like a vehicle of some sort, which becomes in the tens of thousands of gold pretty quickly. But it becomes unreasonable for your character to accrue thousands and thousands and thousands of gold in adventures as rewards. So during this point in the second, third, and upward, we can transition out of rewarding characters gold and into directly rewarding Bastion points as rewards for quests. Like if the Duke of the Realm needs you to perform a task, they could reward you with a small keep that has, say, 13 points. And that 13 points would be roughly worth 1,000 for the first 10, plus an extra 3. It's going to be worth 4,000 gold pieces. It might actually be difficult for a Duke to accumulate 4,000 gold worth of just cash to give your characters, but he has a dilapidated fort out in the western provinces that needs someone with some grit to take over and then to start pushing out that territory. So like, that's a cool reward. You now have a keep. It's fraught with troubles, but that fuels any kind of adventure plot hooks that your characters may have if you want to do like a 7th level hex crawl, for instance. That makes a lot of sense. And as you expand your sphere of power, you can convert rewards and treasure and resources that you gather from these areas that you take over, convert those into Bastion points that further strengthens and increases your Bastion. So with those Bastion points, you purchase facilities. Each facility, and there's 34 facilities listed in the book, and as we go towards publishing it, we actually build rules for how to create your own facilities. And so each facility costs 1 point each to install, and there's 34 facilities, so 34 points worth of facilities will already get you up into 4th rank, which is effectively a 13th level character. So it takes a while, especially once you get past these 20 points, like these 10k gold pieces a piece. That is, Bastion points become more difficult to accrue. You got to take on big quests to start getting big rewards that are worth 10,000 or effectively 100,000. You can't necessarily sell these points off for gold. You can auction them off, and it could take weeks, months, or even whole seasons for you to auction off a Bastion point at these higher ranks, and you'll likely only get a percentage of its value back. But you can if you need gold for some reason, but ideally everything that your character is going to need once you get into this 3rd or 4th rank is either going to be rewarded to you as treasure or rewards for quests, or it's going to be directly transferable into taking over a territory or raiding a castle and taking control of it, and then converting those structures and territory into Bastion points that you can then add to your own facilities to continue to expand. Each facility, so a facility gains ranks just like your Bastion does, up to 5th rank. Each facility has orders that you can issue to it to perform, to carry out these orders that are very much like group checks that NPC hirelings are making. Like if you have a library, they can research stuff. So it becomes a research check, which is an ability check that your hirelings make through the Bastion. So it's a D20 plus the rank of your Bastion, say 3rd rank Bastion, that's going to be a +3 bonus. Thank you, Timely Timer. And then on top of that is you have the Bastion die. So depending on the rank of the facility, you're going to roll a Bastion die, which is effectively a proficiency die from the DMG 2014 variant rules. Instead of getting like a +2 bonus at first level, you'd roll a D4, which could be a proficiency bonus to your die roll of anywhere from 1 to 4. On average, it'll be a 2 or a 3. So as you ramp your levels and increase your proficiency bonus, instead you would be increasing your proficiency die. So the proficiency die is representing the variable of having multiple people coordinating their efforts together. A single character has a proficiency bonus, which is a reliable number that adds to the total skill of that individual accomplishing tasks. But when you have a group of hirelings of lower levels that aren't as reliable, the proficiency die is a good mechanic to represent that narrative. So when you make a Bastion check to accomplish an order that's been given, you roll a d20 plus the rank of the Bastion plus the Bastion die that is equal to the rank of the facility. So your facility can be of a rank equal to your Bastion, but not higher. So if I have a 3rd rank Bastion, I might have like a second rank library. So it'd be a +3 bonus from the Bastion, and then a plus D6 from the library. So 20d6 plus 3 plus d6. And whatever the result of that number is, that's my ability check. And then the difficulty of orders that you issue to be carried out also scale from 1 to 5, using the bounded accuracy curve of Dungeons and Dragons. 1st rank, 2nd rank, 3rd rank, 4th rank, 5th rank task has a DC of 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And correspondingly with maxed out properties, you'll have a D20 plus 6 plus D12, which could be a range of anywhere from an 8 to a 38. That's your range in there. And at 5th rank, that's your 5th rank potential, and your DC is 30. So you've basically got an 8 to 38 range on your die rolls at 5th rank, and the DC of 30. So 25% of the time you'll succeed, but you're probably going to fail. So when you fail a Bastion order, it doesn't mean that you don't succeed at the task. It means a complication occurs that needs to be resolved before you can proceed with the task. And that complication can be presented as an adventure hook that your characters can then use as an episodic adventure, because each Bastion turn is a week. In every Bastion turn, you issue new orders to proceed with whatever your goals are. And every time you have a complication in attempting to succeed at those tasks, they each create a complication. So if you have like 4 tasks if you've issued 4 orders and 3 of them fail and 1 of them succeeds, well, the one that succeeds carry on. You get what you want, or they make progress in the direction towards their goal. But the other 3 failed, they create 3 complications. And if you're going to have a Bastion turn per week, you've basically got 50 turns per year. So when that complication arises, choose one of them, and that's what your team is going to go on. Whichever complication seems like the most fun for the players to do, that's the complication that the characters are now going to delve into to resolve. And once you resolve the complication, you can achieve the task that you would, the order that you had issued, or you can make progress towards its completion depending on how long. Like if it only takes a week to complete, then that complication resolves it. If it takes multiple weeks or even months to achieve, then it's an ongoing order that just like if you have 4 orders that you can issue per Bastion turn, but one of them is going to take an entire month to complete, and each Bastion turn is a week. Of those 4 orders, you only have one of them is getting locked down until that order you issued is actually completed. So that means I now only have 3 orders that are floating for me to assign hirelings through facilities to carry out those orders. I could also spend Bastion points on issuing additional orders. So I can spend a point, and then they can essentially perform an additional task. So that means I can't take all my Bastion points and just immediately lock them up in different facilities. I mean, I can if I want to, but if I keep a small pocket of those points open, it allows me some flexibility to be able to spend the point and then, hey, I want an additional order, but that order could fail and create an additional complication that needs to be resolved. So this is adding a risk-reward system into managing your domain through the Bastion. So right now we've already processed what all of the facilities do. And we determined last session that all we need, basically what we need to do is, like, we see unique orders here as opposed to basic orders. We now know that's a misnomer. That there's just facility benefits, there's downtime activities, and there's orders. So we're restructuring this language, but the first thing we want to do is lock down the language for what the orders actually are. Like, what does it exactly mean to be able to recruit, and then how do we change those recruit orders depending on what type of a facility you're issuing the order through. So going back down here again, so getting through all these facilities, they have various benefits. Let's get down into facility benefits. You have basic benefits, which are extra Bastion die, and then we have unique benefits. Unique benefits offer something unique through that facility. And a basic benefit basically allows you to roll multiple dice when you're making a Bastion check. So instead of just rolling 1d6, you might be able to roll up to 3d6 or even 5d6 and keep the best d6 result and add that to your Bastion rank and your d20 roll. You don't add all the d6s together because that would make the bounded accuracy curve of DC 30 being nearly impossible incredibly plausible, because you're throwing an extra 4d6 after it, potentially achieving the goal without even needing your d20, right? So that breaks the bounded accuracy. So a lot of the mechanical systems that I develop allows you to roll multiple dice, keeping the best result when it's an ability check or some sort of a d20 test in general. So we have our basic benefits, which is rolling extra dice, and then some facilities have unique benefits, which I actually need to make mention of here. Basic benefits, and then we have unique benefits. Some facilities provide unique benefits that are detailed in the description. That are detailed in each facility description. I think I already mentioned this. Various facilities provide benefits to the Bastion and the characters and hirelings within. There is a basic benefit that many facilities provide, which modify Bastion tests as detailed below. While there is a basic benefit, while some facilities provide unique benefits that are described separately in each facility description above. Okay, great. So we already have that language resolved, so I don't have to worry about that there. And then in downtime activities, these are things that your characters can do. A character can participate in one downtime activity per Bastion turn, whether they are on an adventure or not, as long as they either begin or end the Bastion turn within the relevant facility. A character that does not go on an adventure can participate in 2 downtime activities per Bastion turn if the character remains within the Bastion where the facilities are installed for the duration of the Bastion turn. Downtime activities are generally one of 4 types: either bestowing a charm, a character gains some sort of an empowerment, a character is granted inspiration, or a character oversees issued orders. Let's see. As long as they're either right. So bestowing charms, they're basically spells. Like one-time use spells, depending on what the facility is, depends on what kind of a spell it is. Empowerments are when you're gaining like some sort of an ability, class feature, or modifying one of them. Granting inspiration basically gives you a pile of bardic inspiration dice that your character can use when they leave the Bastion to go on adventures to modify their d20 tests during the adventure. And then there's overseeing issued orders. As a downtime activity, when you issue an order to a facility, you can oversee the hirelings carrying out the order instead of making a Bastion check. The character makes an ability check as deemed appropriate by the DM, including any proficiency relevant to the order, and adds the facility's Bastion die to the d20 test. If the check fails, complication occurs as normal. So you would use your character's ability check, and then you would add the Bastion dice as like a bardic inspiration die to the result. So you could more easily blow out the bounded accuracy curve. Like if a wizard with expertise is researching a spell using the Arcana skill with their intelligence of 18, d20 plus 4 from the 18 plus, like, say they're 13th level, so that's going to be a +5 bonus, so it's d20 plus 4 plus 5. And then say you have a 3rd rank arcane library, that is now going to be a D8 that you're going to add on top of the +9 and the D20. So like if you're researching like say a 7th level spell that's got a DC of 25, you're rolling a D8 +9 plus D20, chances are you're going to succeed at it, but it costs your character the week. They're not, unless it's the only thing that they're doing, they can either begin the Bastion turn or end the Bastion turn in the Bastion and still be able to accomplish this task. That's framing the adventure so that if you go on an adventure, it's being completed during the course of a Bastion week. So you begin and end your Bastion turn with the characters in the Bastion, and then they either go out during that week to do whatever they need to do, or they don't have any specific tasks that they have to perform, so they stay in the Bastion and can double down. So you could potentially have your character oversee 2 separate orders during the course of that week of your Bastion turn, to be able to use their ability modifiers to further influence the success of the hirelings by overseeing those activities, minimizing the likelihood of you having additional complications. And since your character isn't going on any adventuring this week anyway, it's good that you're minimizing the likelihood of you having any kind of complications. So that's how, that's what the downtime activities are. And then the third aspect of facilities is issuing orders. So blah blah blah, something about bastions can take unique actions called orders. Let's just go with let's see, bastions can the hirelings, how do I want to word this? Facilities, some facilities in a bastion can carry out orders let's see, hirelings in a bastion can carry out orders unique to each facility. Comma, such as maintaining a lifestyle for the characters and hiring, such as, I'm going to get rid of that, such as creating magical or non-magical items, researching information, or trading exotic materials. Let's see. There are 7 orders that can be issued, and those are craft, empower, maintain, recruit, recruit, research, trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What am I missing? Craft, empower, maintain. Harvest. Harvest. Craft, empower, harvest, maintain, recruit, trade, research, and trade. Issuing orders. You can issue a number of orders to a bastion equal to its rank +1. Rank orders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each order requires a D20 test to determine how well the order is carried out, called a Bastion check. Each order requires a D20 test to determine how well the order is carried out. A Bastion check is D20 plus rank of Bastion plus Bastion die equal to the rank of the facility. Facility rank Bastion die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1d4, 1d6, 1d8, 1d10, 1d12. So you roll a d20 plus the rank of your Bastion, like we were just talking about. If you're third rank, it'd be a d20 plus 3, but if you have like a second rank facility in that Bastion, so it'd be a d20 plus 3 plus d6. And again, the bounded accuracy curve is going to be first, the rank of the difficulty of the task is on a scale of 1 to 5. First rank, second rank, third rank, fourth rank, fifth rank. DC 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Pretty simple. That works elegantly inside of the bounded accuracy curve that's described in the DMG for challenges. If it's less than a DC 10, the Bastion or the character should be able to automatically succeed at it. Only if it's a 50-50 chance on a d20 is it even worth bothering with a die roll. So this bounded accuracy curve of the d20 plus your Bastion rank plus the Bastion die, which is the proficiency die from the 2014 DMG, just relabeled to represent the performance of your hirelings in the Bastion and carrying out the order that's issued. So actually issuing orders. When an order is issued, make a Bastion check, d20 plus rank of the Bastion plus facility Bastion die. The DC is determined by the difficulty of the order as detailed below. Bastion points are spent to increase the, we already talked about Bastion points being spent to increase the rank of the facility. And the rank of the facility determines the size of the Bastion die. You can ignore that. Let's see when you can issuing orders. Let's do it like this. You can any Bastion. Let's word it like this. The maintain order can be issued to any Bastion regardless of facilities. But that now begs, you can only issue orders to the facility. You can only issue orders if a facility is if a facility in the Bastion is able to carry out that order as described in as detailed in each facility description above. The maintain order can be issued to any Bastion regardless of facilities, because the maintain order is used to maintain a lifestyle for your Bastion, and maintaining a lifestyle is important because that determines the stability of the Bastion for the hirelings. If you can't maintain, and we'll go into it later on. I'll skip describing that for now, but that's a rabbit hole, but we'll get into it. The DC is determined by the difficulty of the order as detailed below. The rank of the facility determines the size of the Bastion die. We'll add that here. The DC is determined by the difficulty. If a facility is issued more than one order per turn. Let's see. I don't think we're going to... I'm not going to worry about that right now. I haven't decided whether you can issue more than one order to a facility at a time. Currently, only each facility can be issued one order per Bastion turn. The DC is determined by the difficulty of the task. As detailed below, if the test fails, a complication occurs that prevents the order from being carried out as detailed in the Bastion events and complications section below. Resolving a complication requires a separate order. We don't have to worry about that right now. But if you fail the Bastion check, it creates a complication. The complication is an adventure seed that you can either have your characters go on to accomplish whatever the goal is, like get rid of the curse or recover the item or rescue the engineer or whatever the adventure is that becomes your character's task that week. That if you achieve the goal, you can bring them back to the Bastion, and then it'll proceed as normal. If your character is overburdened or has more important things to do, you can then issue an additional order to your Bastion to attempt to resolve the complication themselves. If it's like if you are attempting to craft an item and a complication occurs, that's a way of doing it. Let's see. Resolving a complication requires a separate order, but is not issued to a specific facility, and always uses the maximum size die for the Bastion. Yeah, that feels true. So if something goes wrong with crafting in the workshop, there's a random table down below that determines what kind of complication it occurs. But if your characters do it, then it's an adventure. Go for it. If you relegate it to hirelings to resolve, it becomes you have to issue an additional order. So you have to have an order available to order them to resolve the complication. And instead of having a specific facility resolve the complication, it's now a problem for all the hirelings in the Bastion to figure out how to resolve. So instead of being reliant on a specific facility, it's now just going to go off of the Bastion as a whole. So it'd be a D20 plus the rank of the Bastion plus the Bastion die that is from the Bastion. So if it's a 4th rank Bastion with a 2nd rank workshop, it would have been a D20 plus 4 plus D6 to achieve the task, to carry out the order. But if it fails and you have a complication, issuing an order to your Bastion to resolve it would then be a D20 plus 4 plus D10, because a 4th ranked Bastion has a D10 Bastion die. So if you have a complication, it's actually easier for your Bastion as a whole to accomplish that order. But it took 2 orders, not 1, to accomplish. So your Bastion can do less stuff if you fail, and there's still a chance of failure. And if you have like 3 or 4 complications at the same time, you're going to have 3 or 4 spare orders laying around, because your characters can only go on 1 mission at a time. Any unresolved complications basically burns that order for the turn, and the next Bastion turn you can either try to accomplish the goal again or let it go and try something else. So you haven't actually accomplished anything because you had a complication that's been unresolved. And it's up to the DM to decide. I think we're going to provide a system for this, but the basic idea is that if you ignore a complication, it's not going to remain static. It can potentially escalate into a bigger problem over time. So I'm thinking it will be a chance of escalating. So like if it was a third rank difficulty, like it was a DC 15 to achieve the task, and it's a complication that's been unresolved, the next round, the next Bastion turn, if you attempt to achieve the goal again, it's still got a complication on it, but now it's escalated. So instead of being a DC 15 to resolve the complication, it's now a DC 20. And at some point, it might be impossible for your Bastion to actually resolve the complication. At that point, it has to be an adventure for your characters to go on, because if your characters succeed at the adventure, it automatically resolves the complication, in addition to any treasure and role-playing opportunities and blah, blah, blah that happen during an adventure. the benefit of using that complication as the source of your adventure hook is that if you go on the adventure and your characters don't die, effectively they're going to be able to resolve the complication as part of the adventure. So if you continue to ratchet up and escalate the difficulty of a task, eventually it's something your characters are going to have to do because your Bastion can't. Your Bastion just can't do it. So you ignore the DC of that task when your characters go on the adventure. You see how that works? And the adventure will typically, if the Bastion is scaling with your characters, the difficulty of the adventure is going to match the level of your character. If you have a Bastion that's operating independently from your character's levels, that's a more Westmarch style campaign where the Bastion is actually the main character in the campaign that your players are controlling. And you can have multiple teams of characters at different levels that the players can activate to go on different missions. So like if I have a second rank adventure, a second rank complication right now, I could then have a team of like 5th to 8th level characters go on that mission to resolve that complication. And then if I have a 5th rank complication that has a DC 30 difficulty, when I send an adventuring team out to resolve that complication, they could be 17 to 20th level characters. So I could have a different adventuring party at each rank of 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 15, 13 to 16, and then 17 to 20. I can have 5 adventuring parties operating out of the Bastion at the same time, each of them performing tasks and fixing problems of the rank that they're equivalent to. But the Bastion itself is the hub that the characters are controlling. So the Bastion is going to continue to gain ranks, and the maximum rank of the Bastion is going to determine the maximum rank of character you can recruit using the recruiting skill of the recruiting order to bring characters in to your Bastion to help achieve the goals of the Bastion. They're basically hired by the Bastion to be fixers and troubleshooters for the complications that arise. And you, as a theme of the Bastion campaign, the people that own the Bastion are kind of nebulous. Maybe you'll give them actual stats, maybe they're actual characters that actually do own the Bastion as presented in the DMG, but they could be recruiting hirelings and specialists that are other characters to build lower level adventuring parties. So like it's like your 17th level character shouldn't really be wasting their time on a second rank task that only requires a 6th level character to resolve. It would be easier for you to hire 6th level characters to go on this quest to resolve this thing. And suddenly that trope about high level wizards hiring low level characters as quest givers to go perform this task. Why are you hiring me to perform this task when it's so easy for you to do it yourself? Because that high level character is always narrated as having more important things to do. Using this Bastion campaign, you now literally have more important things for your 17th level character to do that leaves that 6th level adventure untended to until your 17th level characters hire 6th level characters to go resolve it for them, because if they don't, it's going to become a 9th level problem. And if the 9th level characters can't resolve it, it's going to escalate into a 13th level problem. And if the 13th level characters can't resolve it, now it becomes a 17th level problem, and everyone down the line's in trouble because now you're distracting Elminster from changing the world for good or whatever. But that narrative has always existed as a trope inside of the RPG industry of these high power characters giving low level adventuring parties bullshit tasks to do. Why are they doing that? This provides the frame, the Ludo narrative of why that happens. If you're running a Bastion campaign with multiple, like a Westmarch style Bastion campaign, you now have multiple parties of different levels dealing with different complications at different tiers of difficulty, as the collective are all attempting to push the ball forward. Only your highest ranked team can actually gain rewards for Bastion points to further the Bastion, lower level characters can only resolve complications and thwart threats that will tear down the facilities or take away bastion points from your bastion. So it's a tight narrative. I'm really proud to have found that. And it just makes a lot of sense. It solves a lot of questions about that narrative that exists. That narrative always had an answer inside the Beckme system of your characters basically retiring as the kings or whatever of a kingdom, and now you build a new adventuring party that's adventuring inside of your old characters' kingdoms, and you could assign them there. But when your characters retire, it's like you still don't know what they're doing. You're still not having an explanation of why are they so busy that they can't take care of this thing. This literally provides a frame of reference for why those characters are too busy to do these low effort tasks. So that's the idea there. So when a bastion is issue an order, make a d20 test. We've already described this, so it's becoming a little. We're having some redundancy here, but that's okay, because we're going to hire an editor to help us clean this stuff up, and potentially a co-writer to make it sound smooth. So we're just laying down the ideas here to make sure that they're threading well. So when a bastion is issued an order, make a d20 test, adding your bastion rank to the result. Compare order to determine if the bastion is success. We can get rid of that. If a bastion has a facility that improves, okay, we can get rid of that because we already described this up above. The rank of the bastion determines the maximum die. We already resolved that. Get rid of that. Bastion die for all orders is determined by the rank of the... Okay, fine. We can get rid of that. And now we're back into orders. We just described that. There's 7 types of orders. We'll get rid of that. Let's see, orders. There are 7 orders. Let's see. Each, we already described that above as well. Maybe this is the right place to put this, though. Exotic materials. You can issue a number of orders equal to issuing orders. So orders, issuing orders. Let's see. Types. I don't like this language, but we're going to go with it for now. Types of orders. There are 7 basic. Let's do it like this. Order properties. There are 7 basic orders: craft, empower, harvest, maintain, recruit, research, trade. Each order has unique properties that are consistent. Each order has unique properties that determine what a facility can do when the order is issued, and how difficult and the DC of carrying out each order. That's horrible language, but we're going to go with it for now. So craft. You can issue the craft order to a bastion. You can issue the craft order to a facility, to create non-magical items. Each item can be crafted in one or more facilities. Items are ranked. Let's see. Each item is ranked by their value. I had 0 rank here in asterisk because that was if it's because a character can make anything of 10 gold pieces of value in a day. Because a character can make anything of 10 gold pieces of value in a day. Get rid of that. Let's see. Value. A bastion must have a facility of sufficient rank to craft an item. For example, to create a ballista, 250 gold piece value, the bastion must have a second rank armory. So I think I can get rid of that. As detailed in the basic rules, an individual creature can craft up to 10 GP of can craft an item. Can craft 10 GP worth of value. An individual creature can craft 10 gold pieces worth of value per day by issuing an order to facilities in your bastion to craft the collective the hirelings the collective effort and resources available in the facility can exceed this gold piece limit based on the rank of the facility carrying out the order. Can exceed the gold piece limit based on the rank of the facility carrying out the order, and the DC to craft an item is determined by its value. Order period. The DC and duration to craft an item is determined by its value. Rank 1, 100 gold pieces. This is the gold piece value scale for magic items, which we've talked about before. There's common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary magic items. That's 5 ranks of magic items that mortals can create. Artifacts are the business of gods. You cannot create those, nor can your hirelings ever create an artifact. So, common magic item, DC 10, 15, 20, 25. Legendary magic item, DC 30. The amount of time it takes to make something scales up, but disproportionately. So you can create a 100 gold piece item in a week. Bastion turn is typically a week. This is 10 days worth of effort for a single creature can typically do 10 gold piece of value creating an item. So this is effectively 10 work days worth of value that you get from a first rank facility in 1 week for a DC of 10. Very easy to do, but a first rank Bastion could easily fail. A second rank Bastion can produce 400 gold pieces of value in the course of a week, but it's a DC 15. A third rank Bastion can create 4,000 gold pieces of value, but it takes an entire month to be able to produce this much, and the DC is 20. And then fourth rank, 40,000 gold pieces worth of value. That takes a month to complete with a DC 25. So it'd be 4 Bastion turns, effectively 4 Bastion turns. So if I issue an order to create this thing, like say a damselfly ship in Spelljammer is I think 35,000 gold. So you could create a damselfly with a DC 25 in 1 month costing 40,000 gold pieces value. There you go. So if I were to issue the order to create a damselfly, it's going to take 4 Bastion turns. That one order that I issued is now tied up for 4 weeks. So I now have one less order that I can issue over the course of each Bastion turn until this big ticket item gets completed. This is your duration threshold. So we'll talk about it lower down. We'll talk about it further down here, like manufacture, like mass production of items versus single items. Mass production is basically like if I want to make a bunch of swords that are 10 gold pieces each, a first rank facility could make 10 swords in a week. It costs 100 gold. So the total value of all those things that I'm making is how much I can produce in 1 week for this cost. So if I had a 4th rank facility, like a 4th rank armory, that wants to make just mundane long swords costing 10 gold pieces each, I can literally create 4,000 swords in 1 month if I can hit the DC 25, because that's the value. Anything that's more than 4,000 gold, like if I need 800 swords, right? That's twice the value of what a third rank facility could do. So I could either take 2 months as a third rank facility to make all 800 of those swords with a DC 20 each month to be able to complete that. It's 8 Bastion turns it's going to take for me to make 800 swords this way. Or if I can get into a 4th rank facility, I could churn out all those swords in 1 month, because it's well within the gold piece value that I can produce at this rank, but the DC is going to increase. So there's a chance of failure that can slow it down. So, and then that 200,000 plus gold pieces, like this is the purview of like a hammerhead ship, or like a castle, for instance, is 500,000 gold. So a 5th rank masonry guild could create a castle, but it will take them 3 seasons to complete because it's 500,000 gold pieces in value, and they can only chew through 200,000 per season if they can hit the DC 30. You could potentially take 10 months. It'd be 13 months for a 500,000 gold piece value castle. It'd be 13 months at the 40,000 gold piece, but now I have 13 months permanently locking down one of my orders, and I have to hit a DC 25 to prevent any complications from arising building that castle. So the lower rank I am, I could still accomplish it. Like to build a castle of 500,000 gold piece value, it's going to be a DC 30. So if I have a 1st rank Bastion attempting to make a 500,000 gold castle, it's literally going to take 5,000 weeks to complete. And I'm going to have to hit a DC 30 to do it. And it's literally impossible for a 1st rank Bastion with a D20 plus 1 plus D4. I literally cannot make a castle as a 1st rank Bastion. I will fail. A 2nd rank Bastion has a D20 plus 2 plus potentially a D6. It's possible because my max roll I can get is a 20. It's 8. It's D6 plus 2. No, it's impossible for a 2nd rank to succeed. I have to be at least 3rd rank for me to even attempt a DC 30 task. And that would be D20 plus 3, and at best plus D8. So that would be at best a 31 that I could get, assuming that I rolled a 7 or 8 with a 19 or 20 on my D20. It's almost impossible for me to do it, but it could be done. However, it's going to take me 120 months to do it. So, like, I could do it a lot quicker if I had a 5th rank masonry guild building it for me, but I have to get access to a 5th rank masonry guild to do that. Chances are I'm going to build a smaller keep, like an 80,000 gold piece keep. That sounds much more reasonable. I could make that in 20 months at 3rd rank, or I can make it in 2 months as a 4th rank, but now I have to get access to a 4th rank, and that might be a lot to ask. In these cases, like if there's a castle that already exists somewhere, like that Duke awarding me a keep as a reward for helping them out at 10th level, this is suddenly making a lot more sense, right? This is why it's reasonable to say that like when you get around like 9th level plus, that's when you're generally being rewarded land and titles and having control of facilities because of the cost of the Bastion points is going to be, and we have, wait, actually it's easier for me just to look at another tab. Yeah, 10,000 gold piece values for Bastion points at 3rd rank. So if I have a 40,000 gold, like an 80,000 gold piece keep that I want to give to the characters as a reward for helping a king at 10th level, that's literally going to have 80,000 gold. So it's going to be 1,000 gold here, 10,000 gold here, plus 7 points. That's going to take me to like a 26 point Bastion that I will give to the characters, but it's going to like say be heavily damaged. It currently only has 3 Bastion points. I now need to spend a number of Bastion turns issuing the repair order, which is the maintain order, to repair the Bastion, healing a number of points at 3rd rank. It's currently operating only at 1st rank because it only has like say 3 Bastion points. It's operating as a 1st rank Bastion right now, even though it has the capacity as a keep of operating at 3rd rank naturally. I'm only going to be able to repair D4 Bastion points per order issued, and I can only issue 2 orders per turn right now. So I can roll on like on my first Bastion turn, my first week there, we just start cleaning up. Let's fix this place up, get it operational. So that's going to take, I'm going to issue 2 orders to repair the Bastion. I'm going to roll 2d4. I'll first roll the Bastion check to see if I succeed, and if I fail, I'm going to have a complication. Like bugbears are currently in the Bastion. I got to clear those fuckers out. Let's go kill a bunch of Bastions. Let's go kill a bunch of bugbears. What a cool adventure nugget, right? So you clear out the bugbears. That automatically succeeds at the repair order. I roll a d4. I now add that many Bastion points to my Bastion. So now I have, say I rolled a 3, I had 2, I now have 5 Bastion points. I have another order because I can issue 2 orders at 1st rank. I'm going to roll another d4. That's a 4. That's going to take me to 9 points. I'm still 1st rank because I haven't gotten 10 points back yet, but the facility has 26 points. So I'm still missing 17 points. So next Bastion turn, I'm going to issue another order to roll another d4, and no matter what, if I issue 2 orders, I'll get at least 2 points. That'll take me to 11 points. I've now repaired the keep to now be 2nd rank, and now I can issue 3 orders to the Bastion, and when I do, I can roll a d6 for repairs. So now I can issue 3 orders. I can roll 3d6, assuming because now I have to roll a DC 15 to operate at that 2nd rank to roll that d6. It's now a difficulty DC 15. If I succeed all 3 checks, I'll get to roll 3d6, potentially getting 18 points. That would, if I got all 18 points, that would take me from 11 points to up to potentially 29 points, but we only had 26 points. So after a few weeks, I'm able to get my Bastion back up and running and operating at full facilities with potential complications occurring along the way. Seeding adventures for me once my facility is up. Those bugbears are now pissed off at me. Over the past 2 Bastion turns, they've been able to recruit a bunch of additional bugbears to come now attack the Bastion. We're now dealing with a bugbear siege that's going to attempt to damage the Bastion and tear it back down again, depleting its abilities to 2nd or 1st rank again, and destroying our resources so we can't, because every time you lose Bastion points, they act as hit points. So when I lose Bastion points, my facilities get disabled, I can't issue as many orders, and the Bastion dice that I can roll to succeed those orders are being torn down. So if you're being harassed and sieged or sabotaged, it's constantly taking Bastion points away from your Bastion that you have to then spend orders to repair. So you could potentially, until you can get peace in your home, you're constantly going to be in flux about how and are we going to can we do anything this week? I don't know. How under siege are we right now? That becomes a complication that your characters are probably going to go out and resolve and get rid of them through hirelings. you could raise an army and go attack their army and basically test your Bastion dice against theirs to see which army gives out first. And if you defeat the enemy army, they're routed until they can recruit more troops and come back at you again. And until they can, you've got peace in your Bastion, you can repair it and then issue orders like usual. You could then make a quest out of, we need to secure our perimeter and the environment around us. Let's go hex crawl to find where all of the bugbear threats are coming from. Are there other threats that we need to identify? We should install a spy network so we can start putting out feelers to find out where other adversaries may exist that might attempt to sabotage or siege our Bastion as well. So you can see how this can be developing into a progressively generated campaign over time, based on based on the tasks that you try to achieve, the complications that you have, and the environment that your Bastion is in. See, it's that now introduces the need for a hex crawl to be able to you could send out. As an order, you can issue scouts the order to go out and gather information through research to explore the environment around them as a scout. And that scout's going to make a Bastion check as NPCs on behalf of the Bastion. And depending on the result that they get, and in this case, it's however high their die roll is. Like if they rolled a 13, they'll be able to identify any threats of second rank, which is like a CR5, up to CR5. But there could be like a CR15 threat in the wilderness. The scouts just didn't identify it, so they don't know it's out there. So you're going to want to constantly push out better scouts to get higher results, so that you have more information to confirm that your facilities are secure. Because if there's like a band of ogres and hill giants out there being led by an ogre mage, that could be a third rank threat that your scouts didn't catch. And it's just going to be a matter of, say, D6 turns, they're going to roll in, helping the bugbears reclaim this Bastion and tear it down and take it from you. Now you've got an army of ogres and hill giants helping the bugbears, all being led by an ogre mage chieftain who's working in cahoots with like the bugbear chieftain. So you've got these, so now you have this this would be like a 10th level threat that you could send 10th level characters after, which matches the level of your characters controlling this third rank Bastion, because the third rank is typically for characters level 9 to 12. You see how this is all curving together? It's all self-referencing and provides a tight Ludo narrative for how your campaign can progress from week to week as Bastion turns. The whole world works on these Bastion turns. So as you interact with more environments and encounter more civilizations or other strongholds, you are now interacting with these things, potentially trading with them or creating rivals from them that can either help or harass your own facilities as well. And you can expand and take control of another, conquer that fortress, take control of it. That now becomes a second Bastion that you have to invest Bastion points into maintaining control and communication with. But now you have these 2 points of light, and you can secure the area in between of them as like a trade route that you're now sustaining as a trade order to be able to exchange goods between those two locations in a larger settlement, slowly building a kingdom over time. You see? That's how the system works. So that's what we're mathing out here. We're laying down all these stats. So back on point to here. Laying down all these stats. So orders. So issuing orders. Again, for reference, each facility can be issued different orders. So like, let's go down and look at like an armory. Armory has the order of crafting. You can issue a basic craft order to create non-magical items, and we're going to be getting rid of this language. This is just going to end up being, you can issue an order. You can issue a craft order, and this won't be basic orders. It'll just be orders. When you issue to protect a Bastion from attack, you can roll an issue. Yeah, that would be a basic facility order versus a unique Yeah, orders. There you go. So the craft order for the armory is you can issue the craft order to create non-magical items up to the value listed for the rank of the facility. We just talked about the gold piece value that you can produce. And we could actually simplify this. You can issue a craft order to create non-magical items. See item list below. I'm not going to do it yet, but I could simplify it down to that. So if we go down and we look at the list of items, and we've talked about this before, here's the full list of all items in the player's handbook, in the basic rule set. And so like an armory can create, can create shields. A shield is a common item because it's less than 100 gold pieces in value. And a shield can be created by an armory or a smithy, and it requires mineral and or plant materials, like a wooden shield or a metal shield, like with padding. So these are the items that it typically requires. It could be like bone, a shield made out of like dragon scales. That would be an animal material. So there's animal, mineral, and plant materials that you get access to, which we talk about in the harvest order. The trade or harvest is how you get access to materials. And once you have a material of the proper rank, like if I've established mineral materials, first rank common mineral materials, when I issue the order to create shields, I will, if I've established a supply chain to provide me with common minerals, I will automatically have the materials that I need in my armory to create that shield. So ultimately, depending on what kind of stuff I want to build, I'm going to want to have a supply chain of animal, mineral, and plant materials available to me, which I can produce myself through a settlement issuing the harvest order, or I can set up a storehouse that can store materials as a trade order, which we'll be getting into. But this is the table that we described below. It's like a Warhammer, like all the weapons and armor and stuff that you could build, for the most part, is going to require either an armory or a smithy, but could require, honestly, a great club could be an armory. Garden doesn't seem appropriate, because like chopping down a tree or something, we could go with garden. Yeah, let's just go with garden. And then a great club and just a club. There, that makes sense. Quarterstaff, this could also be a garden. Pistol, muskets, those make sense. Those would be workshops, right? Anyway, so there you go. So that's roughly that's this quick skinny on how. Oh wait, let's go to armor. Let's get shields, armory, smithy. I'd say that makes sense. Yeah, I think that makes sense. We might change that in the future, but for now that makes sense. So here's your list of stuff. And again, this if you want to utilize this, if you want to play test this, you can join my Discord server, and obviously you have access. Here's the document that we're working on, and here's my Discord community. So you're welcome to join my Discord community, and you can check. It's read only. You can't copy paste any of this, so it's really inconvenient for you. But once this actually gets up on the DMsGuild, like all the other books that I have, these are all 100% free preview, and so will this. So you'll be able to check out the free preview, and then if you decide that you want to support me, you could, buy the book to support me, or you can support me on Patreon. God bless you. Patreon support is here, so you can support me there if you want. Discord community here is free access. Thanks, folks, for being interested in this stuff. Looks like we got a couple people that are hanging out with us right now. So, hey guys, thanks a lot for being here. That's my 20-minute timer. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. I've got another hour. And I'll be back tomorrow at lunch at 2:30 Seattle time, minus 8 UTC, at 2:30 p.m. to put another hour into this. And then on Monday, we'll be back Monday night, probably by 6 o'clock. We'll be on, probably Monday night. We'll put in a few hours on this as well, just like we did on episode 8 earlier this week. So, back on task. Okay, so there we go. Orders, value. A bastion must have a facility of sufficient rank to craft an item. For example, to create a ballista, 250 gold piece value. The bastion must have a second rank armory. Materials. To craft an item, the facility must have access to suitable materials. The facility is presumed to have sufficient materials to produce any item listed that it can craft, but if the bastion test fails, if the bastion test fails, a possible complication is that the material isn't suitable. Otherwise, materials listed for each item is flavor text, is simply flavor. Let's change that. Is simply narrative that can be changed as the DM deems reasonable. Duration. How long it takes to create, the value of item created determines the rank of the facility and value of the item created determines determines the duration to complete crafting. If the crafting duration exceeds one bastion turn, the order must be sustained. Or progress halts until renewed. While sustained, no further bastion tests are necessary. But if the order is halted, a new bastion test must succeed to continue carrying out the order. So once you are successful at creating the item, you're basically locking down that order, and you won't use that order again, and you won't have to worry about any other complications until something disrupts the task. If your facility is sabotaged, if you're trying to make a damselfly ship, and someone comes in and wrecks your dry dock or your workshop, you now have to repair the workshop or issue a new order with the lessened rank of facility because you lost points from that facility. Each facility only has 1 point per rank. So if someone attempts to if someone attacks your bastion with the sabotage order, and they roll a d6 and they deal 5 points of damage, even a 5th rank bastion with a maxed out dry dock, those dry docks are destroyed until you fix them. You can't make ships anymore because somebody blew up your dry dock. You now have to spend at least one bastion turn repairing the thing so you can get it back up and running. See how that works? So taking a long time is risky, especially if you're like in open war with somebody, because they could be sending out teams to destroy your manufacturing facilities, or destroy your pipeline, destroy your drone manufacturing facility, destroy your nuclear armaments facility, destroy your weapon depot, destroy your stealth planes while they're sitting on the on the runway, not doing anything because they haven't been issued an order to go bomb your neighbor. We could see that happening in the real world, right? Well, this expresses how that could happen. As per the PHB, characters can craft 10 gold pieces of items per day. See the appendix of lists of items for value, materials, and facilities. If the crafting duration, there you go. A bastion of sufficient rank to create a specific item can increase the duration of time as a lower rank order to reduce the DC. For instance, a 3rd rank bastion can create a single item of 2,000 gold piece value in 1 month with a single bastion check DC 20. Instead, the bastion can reduce the order to 2nd rank, creating 400 gold pieces of value per week, increasing the duration of 5 weeks, requiring 5 bastion checks with a DC with a test with a lower DC 15. That is a level of complexity that we have added, but it is complex. If we eliminated that option, this could just be a variant rule, optional rule. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. And then we're going to reduce the size of the font to show that it's a standout. DC, make a craft bastion check. So what is the order of operations here? Rank, value, duration, DC. Yeah. DC, make a craft bastion check. So what is the order of operations? Now let's put that before duration. And then let's put materials after duration. $10, $15, $20, $25, $30. I'm honestly really excited about this book. I think this is probably, I'm proud of most of the books that I've made. Like most of the stuff I've built is really fucking sweet mechanics. This one in particular, I am very proud of because the Dominion style of play is something that people keep asking for in 5e, and I haven't seen a really good solution that actually uses 5e mechanics. Like MCDM's Stronghold and Kingdoms or whatever, the two books, he made two different versions of it. I mean, why have one Kickstarter for one book when you can have two Kickstarters for two, right? But neither one of them actually uses 5e. They've got character options for characters in 5e, but when you're actually doing like the actual warfare stuff, it's not 5e at all. It's a variant of basically the Beckman system. So we wanted to rectify that, have a holistic system that is using acknowledged, recognized 5e mechanics. So all this stuff is either core basic rulebook or came from DMG 2014's variant rules or optional rules, like the proficiency dice that we're using. So it's just, I mean, maybe you'll like MCDM stuff better than this one, but you could mix and match MCDM's character stuff with how this Bastion system operates at the geopolitical level, if you wanted to. You could also use this in other games that are also D20 games, or you could use this you could use this in Numenera and then convert basically this over to the Edge system if you wanted to, or you could use it in Pathfinder or Starfinder, either version. It works in Shadow Dark. It's more complicated than Shadow Dark, but the mechanics are still the same, because the characters operate independently from this system, but it's designed to merge with and work smoothly with the 5e mechanics that exist. So, materials, we talked about that. DM note, the craft order is different from the maintain order in that the item crafted are for characters using during adventures. Oh, good point. The craft, what am I trying to say here? The craft order is different from the maintain order in that the items created are for the items created with the craft order are for character use during adventures. A Bastion capable of creating items can do so. A Bastion capable of creating items can do so for profit as part of the maintain order. As part of the maintain order issued to determine the quality of lifestyle for your Bastion. So we'll get to the maintain order here sooner or later, but when you do, you'll see that the maintain order is used to repair your Bastion and to maintain a lifestyle for your Bastion. And so all of the things that your Bastion can do, all the wealth generation that it can potentially do, is ignored, and instead you make a Bastion check to determine the lifestyle that you're maintaining as a result of all the things your Bastion can do. The higher rank your Bastion, the more likely you are to have a wealthy or aristocratic lifestyle established for your characters and hirelings while they are operating in the Bastion. So it boils down and removes all of the potential gold generated inside of these systems to instead represent a lifestyle that you're maintaining. A shoe cobbler is making a fuck ton of shoes, and he's selling them to keep his store open, to keep materials in stock, so you can make more shoes and all the bolts and repairing your tools and keeping the place from being caught on fire when hooligans come through, as well as putting food on the table for you, your family, and everyone that works inside of that Bastion. So all of that wealth that could be generated by your Bastion is being absorbed by the lifestyle of the Bastion, and lifestyles are established in the basic rules of D&D. Anywhere from like Wretched, which is a DC 0, Squalid DC 5, Poor DC 10, Comfortable DC 15, Poor, Comfortable, Wretched, Squalid, Poor, Comfortable. I'm missing something. Poor. It's no, it's not comfortable. There's something between poor and I'm just going to go down and look at it. There we go. Poor, modest, and then comfortable, and then wealthy, and aristocratic is a DC 30. Yeah, here we go. DC 0, wretched. DC 5, squalid. 10, poor. 15, modest. 20, comfortable. 25, wealthy. 30, aristocratic. So at the beginning of each Bastion turn, you're going to roll a maintain check to see the level of lifestyle that you can maintain for your Bastion. And once you get a lifestyle that you like, you can expend Bastion points to maintain that lifestyle across multiple sessions. So the rank of Bastion determines the duration of sustaining the lifestyle, and cost of Bastion points is determined by the lifestyle. So if I want to maintain a poor lifestyle, it'll only cost me 1 Bastion point to do it, and a fifth rank Bastion can maintain a poor lifestyle perpetually. But if I can hit a DC 30, I can put 5 points to maintain an aristocratic lifestyle that a 5th rank Bastion can maintain perpetually. But again, a 5th rank Bastion is equivalent to a 17th level character. A 9th level character is 3rd rank. So for a season, like if I could hit a DC, it's possible to hit a DC 30 with a 3rd rank Bastion. And if I happen to, if I crit my chance, then I hit that aristocratic lifestyle, I could put 5 points into it, and for an entire season, which is 3 months, which is 12 Bastion turns, or 13 Bastion turns technically if you're running on weekly Bastion turns, I can maintain that by sacrificing 5 Bastion points. I can maintain that aristocratic lifestyle for an entire season. Lifestyles become important when you're recruiting creatures and armies. The higher rank the creature is, the higher level of lifestyle you have to maintain to keep them happy. Like a CR 13 gold dragon isn't really going to be impressed by your little shoe shop, Geppetto. Like you've got a first rank Bastion here, and you've got a dragon with an aristocratic lifestyle. It is literally impossible for your little shoe shop to be able to impress a gold dragon enough, like an ancient gold dragon, to keep it around. It's gonna go back to its lair where it's maintaining its own aristocratic lifestyle with a massive bed of gold. See how that works? So you have to so lifestyles are actually really important, but they're folded into the overall operation. You can attempt to negotiate through trade. you can attempt to negotiate buying down the lifestyle that a creature or hireling or army is willing to remain at. But it requires a bastion test or a diplomacy test or characters getting involved directly to influence them. And if like for example, if you want to recruit a fifth rank hireling like an arch wizard to open a rift to another plane of existence for you, for example, you might have to, and you can't hit the aristocratic lifestyle benefits that it wants to work for you right now, then that means that you've created a complication. Yeah, the wizard's willing to work for you. You guys aren't very impressive, but he has this thing that he needs to get taken care of, and if you're willing to do it, he'll open your rift for you. That creates a complication that can be resolved as an adventure hook. Your adventure of the week is now helping Tim the Enchanter get across, get across the chasm, and now he's willing to open up his portal for example. But I digress. So that's crafting. So this is how. So that is the optional rule. Materials to craft an item. Facility must have the access to suitable materials. As long as you succeed your checks, we're going to hand wave that you happen to have materials that you need in your workshop. But if the Bastion test fails, a possible complication. Let's see. To craft an item, the facility must have access to suitable materials. The facility is presumed to have sufficient materials to produce any item listed that it can craft up to the rank of the facility and corresponding lifestyle maintained by the Bastion. So if I want to make a third rank item, it's as long as I'm maintaining a third rank lifestyle, which is a comfortable lifestyle, it's assumed that I'll have the materials that I need to create anything of third rank or below. So again, lifestyle is hand waving so much of the economics that go into the system. I actually got this idea from modern D20. Back in the days of 3E in the early 2000s, they took the D20 engine and they created modern D20. By Wizards of the Coast created modern D20. And instead of them having gold or cash or yen or whatever it was, they had a wealth check. So when your characters wanted to afford or buy something to basically equip, like they wanted a Lamborghini, that might have a DC 25, and depending on the lifestyle and wealth of your character, they would have an ability check that they would roll, and if they could hit the DC 25, they could afford the Lamborghini. But doing that could break their threshold and deplete their bonus. So that's where I'm getting this idea from way back in like 2008 with modern D20's wealth check. That's where this is all coming from. Just as relevant here in 5e, but again, 5e is a very simple version of 3e. It's like somewhere between first edition and third edition in complexity, right? 5e is like in that space in between, which is what their intention was, and I think they did a really good job with it. So, but they stripped out all the complexity of gameplay from both 1e and 3e. They got rid of the depth of character creation in 3e, and they got rid of the depth of world building in 1e, and they left us with dungeon punk in 5e, with a lot of narrative, social pillar of adventure, just basically describing and narrating what your character wants to do. And the Bastion system is only narrative. It has a very limited scope of what it can actually do, but in that scope of what it can do, basically the player says, I do this, and there's no die rolls involved with it. This is vastly expanding what you can do through your Bastions, but it's creating consequences that when you fail or when your facility is attacked, it removes your ability to succeed at that task, and now it requires your character's involvement. Hence, Bastion Campaign. It's building the framework for you to have a progressively generated list of tasks that your character performs on a weekly basis, on a adventure of the week,
like literally Adventure of the Week format, where you can build one-shots where your characters are going through and resolving the complication, and then next week we're going to issue new orders, and whatever the new complication is, that's going to be our adventuring session this time. The Bastion campaign that I've been running for my home table, I've been running it for about 9 months now when we first came up with this idea. And it takes us about 3 to 6 hours to complete any adventure that the characters run. So I don't run 6-hour adventures, so sometimes it takes more than one session to complete. But it's got a high turnover. It's like after 6 hours of gameplay, like a 3-hour session is going to be typically like two sessions we complete that adventure, and then we have a Bastion turn, and that Bastion turn will be if we do that during downtime, like between game sessions, we can decide what tasks we want the Bastion to perform, and it can be part of your prep work as a DM to know what they're trying to do, and roll the Bastion dice right then and there. And then you'll know what complications arise. The team can decide which complication they want to pursue as an adventure, if any of them. And then the DM now knows, okay, well, I will then prep this complication as our one-shot. Now you can do Monster of the Week or like Kids with Bikes or whatever kind of, like Blades in the Dark, whatever format of adventuring you want to do, you can, if you want to compress it down to literally 1 week, then you've got the DM has its off-game tasks of updating the Bastion and presenting new obstacles, the team choosing which one they want, or if you have a more long, drawn-out campaign, it's like it might take 2 or 3 sessions for us to complete this, but when we do, we're going to go back and we'll do our Bastion turn as part of the next session, and then we'll launch the next adventure. So that's a way to do it. And that's a very West March sort of way to do it. If you're literally running a West March campaign, you could have a Bastion, like you could have like 2 or 3 Bastions that are working together in a settlement, and you have like say 9 tasks that you're churning out each Bastion turn. If you had like 3 or 4 potential groups of players and a number of DMs that are all working together inside this Bastion complex, then you could have 5 or 6 complications that arise, and you only have like say 3 adventuring teams. Which of these 3 complications do you guys want to resolve? 3 DMs, one takes on each task, and an adventuring party forms to go tackle that task. That is a way to be able to run a West March campaign through the Bastion campaign. So there's that. So DM notes, craft order is different from the maintain order. We just talked about that. Dungeons & Dragons is not intended to simulate world economies. So anything that can be produced by the Bastion is simply narrative for how the Bastion maintains the lifestyle for the characters. Is simply narrative for how the Bastion maintains the lifestyle for the characters and hirelings that are part of the Bastion, and how the Bastion has the materials needed to craft, to craft items, period. There you go. Mass production. You can create multiple consumable or non-magical items. You can create multiple non-magical items by combining the total cost up to the maximum value of the Bastion maximum value the Bastion can create. For example, we were talking about this earlier. First rank weaponsmith can create 1 times 10 great swords per day, 10 gold pieces, or 10 times 10 gold piece swords per week. A second rank weaponsmith can create 40 times 10 gold swords per week, 400 gold. See Appendix A below for the list of facilities required to create a particular non-magical item. Plans. To craft items, you must have the plans necessary to do so. A facility has the plans for any item of common value, up to 100 gold pieces of value, but more valuable items require separate plans to create. Plans can be discovered through adventure, researched in a facility that can create the intended item, or traded for as detailed in the research and trade section below. Discover through, there it is. Okay, great. Let's see. Yeah, that's subtle. That's so. I'll need to make sure I point out down here and research. Yeah, that's subtle. That's subtle. I'll need to make sure I point out down here and research. Yeah. Right. Okay. That's manufacturing. So yeah, that resolves crafting. So let's go back to our list of facilities and let's start fixing crafting. Orders, craft. Orders, craft. You can issue a craft order to create non-magical items up to the listed up to the value listed for the rank of the facility. That is an accurate statement. Wait a second. Is there downtime activity? There we go. Orders. There. So now that you know how to make orders, all you gotta do now is look at the list and verify that you have the proper facility of the correct rank to be able to create the materials. There you go. Very easy. It's a very well self-contained system. Crafting in a nutshell. So now we can go through. We're just going to use the same language. You can issue, I think I want to say you can issue the craft order. The craft order. Yeah, that feels right. Let's go look for more craft orders. Armory. We're going to eliminate this unique term, but we got to get there first. Again, these are just orders, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. Not going to worry about that yet. I am going to bold it though. This is just orders. You can issue the craft order to create non-magical items. See the item below. This is for the garden. There you go. Orders, craft. Greenhouse. Greenhouse makes like poisons and food and stuff. Laboratory can also make poisons, but like acids and alchemist items. You see how you can use this system to introduce new items into your game, like Indestructible Terran Pound's merchant class has a huge list of alchemical items that can be created by the alchemist. If you folded the alchemist into your 5e game, you could add all of the alchemy items in Terran's alchemist class. You can add all of those to your laboratory or workshop, or possibly greenhouse, depending on what it is. You have to break it down, but you can just eyeball it, and the alchemist has the plans needed to make those items. So just like the artificer in 5e has, if they we don't know what they're going to end up doing, but in the playtest, they said that your artificer learns the plans of X amount of magic items. So when we get into making magic items here, they also require plans. So if you have an alchemist in your party, you can automatically get the plans that you need to make magic items that you can then oversee the empowering order to make those magic items in your bastion as a bastion check. See? Library, basic order, unique order, don't need to worry about that right now, don't need to worry about that right now, don't need to worry about that right now, craft. Next, sacristy. Sacristy can make material components or spells. And you craft them
Sanctuary can also make material components. Can also make like arcane, divine focuses, or no, druidic focus. That's right. And this is a scriptorum. This can make books and maps, duplicate anything written. Smithy. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Oh, let's look at the workshop. Let's look at the storehouse real quick. Facility benefit. When issuing a craft order to create non-magical items, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. When issuing a harvest order to acquire any type of materials, you can roll an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of the facility. The narrative here is that your storehouse is holding more materials than what could be in the Bastion's facility by itself. This is specifically holding additional materials. So this is allowing you to add to roll an additional Bastion die, keeping the best result when you're making your Bastion check, to assure that you're going to succeed at the check, because your storehouse has so much materials that it can overcome that complication by rolling extra dice and assuring a higher die roll in general. That's the narrative. Maybe when we come back through here, we'll provide narrative, like we'll actually write the narrative for each of these things. We'll see if we go there. Workshop. Also crafting. And hey, look at that. We ran out of crafting orders. So we're officially done with the crafting orders for now. Next is HE Empower. You can issue the Empower order. Thank you. You can issue the Empower order to your you can issue the Empower order. How did I word it up here? You can issue the Empower order to your to a facility to create a magical item. To a facility to create non-magical items. Each item can be created through one or more facilities as listed in Appendix A below. Magic items are ranked by their rarity, actually. Rank 1, common, DC 10. Again, maximum gold piece value is 100 gold. Duration, like usual, is 1 week, just like in crafting. So this is basically the same as crafting, except they're magic items instead of non-magical items. And it's assumed if you have a facility that can create magic items this way, that the hirelings in that facility are capable of doing the magic needed up to this rarity. Assuming that you have the plans to do so, right? A Bastion must have a facility of sufficient rank to empower an item and listed rarity. For example, this should be the same as crafting. Hold on. Week, month, season. This should be the same as crafting. Hold on. Week, month, season. Oh, yeah, I see. Hold on. Yeah, consumable items can be made quicker. So it should be week. Oh, yeah, I see. Week. Yeah, consumable items can be made quicker. So it should be week. Month, season, and this would be there. That feels more appropriate because consumable items have half the value, but like you can make like potions and like a healing potion is 25 gold, and you can make one in a day. So this is conforming to that information that's provided in the basic rules. Crafting a scroll, you can make a first level scroll in 1 day. This is complying with that order. You can make up to, first rank is 0, 1, spell levels 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So assuming you have a facility that's a high enough rank to create them, you can make a fireball scroll 0, 1, 2, 3. You can make one fireball scroll in 1 day, issuing that order to your facility to do so. But if you wanted to make a permanent magic item like a broom of flying, that'll take a week. There you go. Rarity. A Bastion can have a Bastion must have a facility of sufficient rank to empower an item of the listed rarity. For example, to create a portable hole, a rare magic item, the Bastion must have a 3rd rank workshop. Value. The gold piece value of the item is based on its rarity. Consumable items are half the cost in gold of magic items. For instance, a portable hole and potion of clairvoyance are both rare items, valued 4,000 gold and 2,000 gold pieces respectively. Duration. I should have DC before duration. I do. So DC needs to drop in before duration. Is that how I do that up here? We have value, DC, duration, materials, plans. Value, DC, duration, materials, plans, and then manufacturing. That would be mass production, excuse me. And mass production is for plans. Thank you. Maybe we should have plans before mass production. Plans, and then mass production. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. And then, since we're talking about mass production, that's how you would be generating wealth, right? That's how you'd be generating your lifestyle. So putting that at the end makes most sense. Hey, that's logical. We built logic, folks. Look at that. It's logic. Loving it. So let's look at item materials. To empower an item, it must be suitable for receiving magical energy. Normally, the facility has access to a suitable item. Let's see. Normally, the facility has access to a suitable item if the Bastion is maintaining a lifestyle equal to the rank of magic item being created, comma. But if the Empower Bastion test fails, a possible complication is that no item present is receiving the magical energy correctly. This can mean either a new item must be provided or an exotic material must be incorporated into the item present to become empowered as detailed in the complications section below. Plans. To empower items, you must have the plans for each magic item you create. For each magic item you create. Thank you, Timely Timer. Plans can be reused, but any modifications of materials or abilities require new plans. Plans can be discovered through adventure, researched in a facility that can create the intended item, or traded for as detailed in the research and trade sections below. So let's go back down to the research section and make sure that we're making mention of it. Item creation plans. There we go. Good. And so that's the skinny on empowering items, right? So we have now resolved the empowering order, and it is 840. What is it? 848. So tell you what, let's go through the orders. And again, if we're looking at our list of items in the appendix, we can see as we scroll down to magic items, all the magic items in the game. We don't list out each individual magic item, but we do list out their category and type. So you've got armor, holy water listed separately. Potions, rings, rods, scrolls, staffs, wands, weapons, wondrous items, and charms. And then you have magic item themes, which is armaments, which can be all sorts of things in here that generally martial characters would have, right? Arcana for arcane caster type characters, like Eldritch Knight would be included in here. Bard, sorcerer, wizard. Implements, which could be like martial characters as well as just utility gear in general. Relics, it spans all sorts of like divine topics. And then trinkets, which are technically non-magical items. So here's your list of facilities that can create like armor, like magic armor. It can be made in armories, smithies, or reliquaries. Holy water can be made in a sacristy or a sanctuary. Rods can be made in arcane study, reliquaries, sacristy, sanctuary, smithy, and workshop. Right. A wand can be made in an arcane study, a reliquary, a sanctuary, or a sacristy. So here's all your stuff. Here's your categories, which can span like an arcane study can make arcana, even if it's not specifically a ring, rod, scroll, staff, wand, or weapon, or wondrous item. Like arcane study does a shitload of stuff. Like that's one of your first go-tos. If you have an arcane caster in your party, you're probably going to want to get an arcane study pretty quickly. But otherwise, it follows the exact same rules. And we don't list an item because it's going to require, you're going to have an item provided, and whether or not it requires an exotic material is going to determine whether you succeed the roll or not. One last look. Plans to empower item. Yeah, we have plans in the mass production. Each magic item and consumable must be empowered separately. So any item of common rarity or higher cannot be mass produced. However, trinkets can be mass produced. As a variant in power order identical to the basic craft order. Non-magical items as detailed above in the craft, as detailed above for the craft order. There we go. I'm not going to work on harvest right now. Instead, we're going to go back up here and we're going to look for instances of the empower order to make sure that we have properly codified what it is. You can issue the empower order to create arcana magic items up to the rarity listed for the rank of the facility. You can issue the up to the rarity listed. I can hear myself. That's okay. Okay, here we go. The archive. It's just it's just an order. There is no difference between basic, variants, and unique orders at this point. So you can issue the Empower Order. You can issue the Empower Order to create magical items up to the rarity listed for the rank of the facility. Armory Empower Order. You can issue the Empower Order to create magical items, armaments, armor, shields, weapons, up to the rarity listed for the rank of the facility. Auction House. Nope. Crypt. You can issue the Empower Order unique to this facility as a variant of recruiting to animate. No, you know what? Honestly, we're gonna switch that. We're just gonna go with order, and we're gonna switch that order. I don't see a reason for us to make it Empower. I get why it would be Empower, but it's gonna follow the rules of recruiting, so you can issue the Recruit Order. You can issue the to create two. You can issue the recruit order to animate CR1 have skeletons to serve and defend the bastion. The maximum number of skeletons create blah 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 blah. So that'll be under recruiting, but it follows the rules of recruiting. I thought I was being clever by using the Empower Order instead of the Recruiting Order, because you're basically casting Animate Dead a shitload of times. But I think I want to keep it simple by just calling it Recruiting. If the DM wants to decide that can be empowering, go right ahead. But I want to keep it simple. Looking for more Empower Orders. Empower, here we go. You can issue the Empower Order to create magical items, potions of a rarity listed. There you go. You can issue the Empower Order to create magical items. There you go. Hold on. That was way too trite. Let's go back here. Actually, that was way too trite. Let's go here. And here. And here. Let's check our magic. What can we make with a greenhouse? Okay, so good. And now we're looking at the laboratory. What can the laboratory do? Nothing down here. What can the laboratory do? Nothing down here. Laboratory for potions. Good. Okay. Okay, that jives. It's just orders now. And we already determined that we're getting rid of the term unique orders. That's just going to be research. So Empower. You can issue the Empower Order now to create magical items, scrolls, any of a rarity listed for the rank of the facility. Empower. You can issue the Empower Order now, baby. To create arcane, divine, or druidic magic items. To create arcane, divine, or druidic magic items. Well, what does the arcane study say? To create arcane magic items. Oh, it does say arcane magic items. Good. To create arcane, divine, or druidic magic items. To create arcane, divine, or druidic power, you can issue the Empower Order to create divine or druidic magic items. You can issue the Sanctuary for druidic magic items. Sanctum. Scriptorum. You can issue the Empower Order to create a magical item. You can issue the Scrolls to create a magical item. Empower. Smithy, you can issue the Empower Order to create a magical item. Armor, rings, rods, blah. Spy Network. You can issue the Empower Order to create a trade. No orders. No. Here we go. Workshop. You can issue the Empower Order to create magical items, including implements, rings, rods, and wanderers items. And this should not be Empower. This is, you can issue a Recruit Order. This should be Recruit. You can issue a Recruit Order to... of course, it's unique to this facility because I don't describe it anywhere else. You can issue the Recruit Order to coax a spirit into the body of a golem constructed in this facility. So you can create golems to defend your fortress. And hey, that's all the Empower Orders. So we're done with empowering. So I'm going to, it's 9 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and cut stream here for the night. When we pick up tomorrow, we are going to continue with the Harvest Order. Walk through the details of creating of how harvesting works, and then go through the facilities that can harvest and resolve the language there. So far so good, guys. We're doing really good. We got the Harvest Order on the way. We've got Harvest. We have Maintain, Recruit, Research, and Trade. Once those orders are all completed, we can resolve all the information on the facilities, and then next week we'll probably be working on this Monday night, possibly Tuesday, but by Tuesday or maybe Thursday next week, we'll be working on governing bastions and settlements, and then we'll get into here talking about creating structures and settlements. Then we'll get into commanding armies. And then bashing conflicts, which are sieges and sabotage, which are performed by spies or armies. Armies are sieges, spies are sabotage. And I've been working on these mechanics on the side when I think about it. And then after we resolve how sieges and sabotage works, then we go into actual bastion events and complications. So you can see we have a chart here for events, the D20 table, just like in the DMG, but now we divide them between armies, bastions, and settlements, because these are the three types of organization that we can have. We've been talking about bastions, but then settlements is like land held either as a bastion or on which a bastion is built. And then armies are like their own bastion, but they don't have a specific location. They're mobile, right? It's like a pirate fleet could act as both an army as well as a bastion, because the ships are large enough to have facilities in them, but they don't have stable land. So you can't make a settlement out of boats unless you tied them all together into like a Tortuga Island sort of thing. But normally, a pirate fleet could be a bastion, because you could have facilities in the ships, but the ships can also act as an army because it's full of pirates that are willing to attack stuff that they can reach. So that's why the events, the bastion events, are organized in these three between armies, bastions, and settlements. And then the complications. If you have a complication with crafting, you can't solve the problem with crafting. So you'd roll a d6 to see what type of order you actually need to issue to resolve the problem. So like it'd be, since crafting would be normally the first, we don't have that. So on a scale of 1 to 6, if I have a complication, I'd roll a 6-sided die. And let's say I rolled a 2. So my crafting issue is a harvest issue, which is the facilities lack the materials needed to create the item. So I could either issue the harvest order for hirelings to assist in acquiring the materials needed, or I could create an adventure to end a complication in the settlement supplying the needed materials. So like I don't have the materials that I need to craft the item, so I can either just resolve it through an additional order, just fix it, and if they succeed, they find an alternate material source. But if I want to make an adventure out of it, now we're going to go to a specific location. Like if I'm trying to like maybe I'm trying to make like Qual's feather tokens, right? The feathers I need suck. Well, what we actually need are griffin feathers for the thing that you want. So now your adventure is go to a griffin's nest and take the feathers from griffins so that you can make your feather tokens. Now you gotta hunt down, capture, and pluck a griffin. That's your adventure. Doesn't sound like a very complicated task. Qual's feather tokens aren't very expensive. Hold on, let's actually verify that. Qual's rare magic item, 3rd rank. 3rd rank, a griffin would be appropriate, actually, or a rock, or maybe harpies, a quaddle. You can use an action to toss a token 5 feet in the air. The token disappears, and an enormous multicolored bird takes its place. The bird has the statistics of blah, and it's consumable. So it'd be 2,000 gold piece value. Neat. See that? See how that worked out? Easy peasy. So yeah. When we come back next session, which will be tomorrow at lunch, 2:30 Seattle time, which is -8 UTC, which is approximately 17 and a half hours from now, we'll be back to work on the harvesting rules, and but we'll be back tomorrow morning, probably somewhere between 6 and 6:30 Seattle time. To continue working on the Eberron adventure, Crystals of Umbar. We're currently painting a cityscape for Sharn, the city of towers. So if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. I do artwork Monday through Friday in the mornings, and then we do game design on Monday and Thursday nights like this, as well as Tuesday and Friday lunch like tomorrow. Here's a stack of books. You can see all the other work that we've produced previously. The Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rules, Spelljammer, and Theurgy Ability Check Casting. We're going to be updating these books for the 2024 rules. We have to get done with the Eberron campaign book first before we can start rebuilding these. But we'll be rebuilding these while we're working on the Bastion campaign book as well. So we're going to be bouncing around in the future between different art and different tasks, kind of like we do. So if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, stick around, and thanks a lot, guys. I'll see everybody. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys in the morning, and more of you guys at lunch tomorrow. Cheers.